Welcome to Two Humans Talking. I'm Tiffany Sims, your Disney-loving mid-sized nutritionist and high-performance coach. I enjoy talking about food, exercise, and getting the most out of life.
And I'm Chelsea Scroggins, your yoga instructor and life coach. I enjoy talking about all things that enhance the life.
She really does love to talk. It's wonderful.
It's true.
All right.
I love to talk.
This week, I want to talk about something that I have very strong opinions about.
Okay.
And when we talk about it, I just want to make sure our listeners know that, one, this is so unscripted. Like Chelsea and I just talked about the topic. We haven't talked about it in our personal opinions yet. So I have no idea where this is going to go. But two, always consult your doctor. Do what's right for you. Chelsea and I are not licensed medical professionals. We are not giving you like health. What's the word I want? We're not giving you medical advice. That's what I want to say.
Correct.
And so this is just truly our personal opinions on this topic. And we're just going to go from there. So if this is where you're at, and this is something that is coming up between you and your doctor, like you discuss that with them, this is just where Chelsea and I stand on the topic. And that topic is weight loss pills and weight loss shots, specifically the insulin shot. Ozempic and Wegovy, whatever, I don't even know how to pronounce it, has been in the news and in my For You page. Everywhere I look, people are talking about this new magic shot. And for me, before I get into like my personal opinion, I kind of wanted to share a little bit without getting too sciencey, what the insulin shot actually does. So those insulin shots that are used for diabetes patients use a chemical called semaglutide. And what that does is it messes with the insulin production and stabilizes blood sugar, which is super important if you're diabetic. Like your blood sugar is really, really important to keep it maintained.
Yes.
But while it does that, because insulin is a hormone, and it's a gut hormone as well, it slows down your digestion and it causes your food to move through your digestive tract at a slower rate, which in turn causes you to feel full longer. So people are eating less because it suppresses their appetite. So basically, you're eating less. If you're consuming less calories, there is that calorie deficit thing where you lose weight because you're not consuming as much food as you were.
Right.
But I just can't get on board with doing something that's going to slow your digestion when all I want to do is optimize my metabolism and optimize my digestive health in my gut. Like, how does that sound healthy? A healthy choice?
For me, I don't think that is a healthy choice. Honestly, a lot of people just feel like quick. They don't want to do the work. And the healthy choice is to actually do the work, to figure out why you're eating so much and so often. Is it because you're trying to suppress your emotions, which half the time it is because you don't want to feel, you don't want to process what you're really going through. Instead you're suppressing it. And a lot of people don't know how to do that and how, or even where to go. And I feel like when that comes about and you're constantly eating, you have to sit down and figure out like why am I constantly doing this? What is making me want to do this? And once you figure that out, then you stop eating your emotions because you start working through that emotion and that why. And to do that, honestly, I feel like you need to find the right people to help you through that, right? Whether that be a therapist, whether that be a nutritionist, whether that be a yoga teacher, whether that be a combination of all, right? And it's all a mindset thing too, because it stems from your mental. Your brain is connected to your gut, absolutely, And I feel like nowadays the media, even doctors, are programmed to push what the next best thing is coming from the big who. I won't say names because it'll just red flag us. So they are pushed to sell that next drug, that next best thing for weight loss, that next best thing for anxiety, that next best thing for whatever major problems all of us Americans are having right now. And there's like a few major ones, right? And weight loss is a huge one. Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say they push that, and then us as Americans, everything's so instant right now that we're like, oh my gosh, how could I do that in a month's time? And in reality, like it took you so many years to get where you are, that how can you expect a month's time to just have it like that and sustain that? I mean, that just to
Ah,
me.
yes. Oh my God. Oh my God. You just, yes, 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 yes. And I say this to my clients all the
Yeah.
time. How you lose weight is how you maintain weight. And
Yes.
you touched on this, and I don't know that I would say people don't want to do the work, because I think people who are in the position where they're looking at alternatives, like taking a shot every week, are
That's
feel like they've exhausted all of their resources and aren't making any progress, and there's no other option for them. But the thing is that, like I said, how you lose weight is how you maintain the weight. And it's not that you're destined to be fat forever. It's that no one ever taught you actually how to be healthy. Everyone's always pushed you on a diet. We all know diets
Mhm.
aren't sustainable. If they
It's
were,
true.
I wouldn't be 38 and diets wouldn't still exist, because everyone would have healed their shit by now. Like,
It's true.
obviously, like,
But I
obese.
also want to say that some people are not willing to put in the work. Some people are not
That.
willing to go through, and they're just like, nope, just give me this pill and I'll just easily take that. It's 2 seconds out of my day versus like, an hour of your time. Or some people have excuses of why they can't. That's what I meant. But not everybody. Everybody can't be lumped into that. And so that was my fault for saying
No,
everybody, but
no,
that
I
but
think it
that
opened a great
but
conversation.
definitely, but what you're saying is that's a good point.
And so
Continue. Sorry, I
a
just didn't want to
lot
leave.
of people who have taken the shot are trying to wean themselves off of it, and they're finding that they're gaining weight and they're
Mhm.
frustrated. But the thing is that if you're relying on this shot alone and you're making no other changes in your life but eating like a freaking bird, like there's no way you can maintain that. Who wants to only eat lettuce the rest of their life? No one. No one just wants to
No
eat
one.
some carrots and some lettuce for the rest of their life. And if you're relying
Absolutely
on the
not.
shot to do all the internal work for you, and then you're not changing your actual habits and being a healthy person, then
Yeah,
when you come off of it, you're just going to balloon right back up, and you're going to be just as
correct.
frustrated, just
Correct.
as broken. Your gut biome's going to be an absolute mess. Like, it fucking, oh, excuse me, my language. It just really it like makes me really, really angry. It makes me
It's
so
a
upset.
I want to say another thing too. It's a money thing. So then they keep you on that insulin, right? That and because and I bet you eventually you become insulin resistant with that shot, so you have to depend on it to keep your insulin where it needs to be, and so it's all a like you can never get off of it eventually. I'm sure that's where it'll eventually go. I mean, if it's not there already, but
Well,
it's the thing to.
it's already linked to pancreatitis and thyroid cancer.
Wow. Oh. Back in the day, there was a pill that actually my mom took in her 30s and she looked amazing. So me and my mom are like twins, okay? I am definitely my mom's child. And she's always like, "You're so beautiful." And I'm like, "Mom, that means you're beautiful." But she was taking a pill because she thought she was fat. And I mean, my mom was not fat at all, but that pill ended up eventually giving her a heart attack because it clogged her arteries. And Fin, that was the pill. And
Oh,
maybe I shouldn't
yeah.
have said
I
that.
was in, like, 8th
Fin.
grade when that was a big thing.
Yeah, and she took it, and I mean, it's incredible what these diet pills and these insulin shots or these diet shots, whatever it is going to actually do in the long term effect. And if you actually just do the work, and it takes time, but in the long term effect, it'll just be better on you, and it'll be less time as you go because you'll have processed through instead of having more time in the end when you're probably weaker, and then you have to do all this stuff to try to recoup what the damage has already happened.
The other thing, I don't have children. However, if I had children, I can't pass on insulin shots. I can't pass on weight loss pills. Like, I wouldn't want my
No,
kids relying on that, and I wouldn't want them seeing that. Like, would want to get my stuff together so that I could pass
absolutely.
on the habits so that they don't have to struggle the way that I did. And
That's
so, like,
very beautiful.
I remember
Yeah.
you said fen-phen, and I remember being in 8th grade and my classmates taking their parents' prescription pills because they were trying to lose weight.
Wow.
You know, in
Oh,
8th grade, most kids are they have not found their hunger
they're
yet. They haven't
awkward.
but they're also mostly very tiny people. And so you
Very
had
true.
really
Very
skinny,
true.
popular kids in 8th grade and 9th grade trying to take their parents' fen-phen because they felt like they needed to be smaller.
Mm.
Like, come on.
That makes me sad, but it's so true because the kids are a product of what their parents are. They see and watch and they do what their parents do. So if your mom is, or even fathers, I'm sure dads struggle with this too. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. If they're constantly like, I'm fat, I'm worthless, I've just taken this pill, this is what works. I mean, the kid is eventually going to do that and think that that's okay for them. So that is beautifully said. I don't have kids yet. I want kids. um and I think that's, I want to instill mindset things to my kids, stuff they can take with them from generation to generation. So that's what I want to do as well, instead of like, here's a pill that's eventually going to change. I mean, what's going to happen is eventually people are going to come out and be like, whoa, this messed me up in X, Y, and Z way. And then they're going to have to switch it and they're going to have to find a new way, a new thing to
Mhm.
bring to the masses on what's going to help
When
you lose weight.
has ever a new fat loss tea, a new weight loss drug, a new diet plan ever actually sustainably help someone live a healthier life?
To be honest, I don't think it's ever, because my mom has constantly jumped from diet to diet to diet. I mean, Weight Watchers, like you name it.
Right. Because if it had, people wouldn't have to keep going back on a diet. They would have repaired themselves and they'd be living a
Correct.
healthy life, and then you don't need a diet.
Correct.
And that kinda reminded me as I was scrolling this week, there's, like, this really weird camp right now of the people who are saying, like, "We're going back into the anti-fat movement, where fat's not okay, and fat isn't a crime." And I don't think that we went through that whole body positive, love yourself, everything, right? And yes,
Yeah,
no matter what size you are, you really should love you and appreciate everything your
absolutely.
body's doing for you today. But I think we're moving the needle a little bit and going from complete acceptance, I don't have to change a thing about me, to I want to be a better version of myself. And if I am super heavy, I'm not moving through life the best I could. And I'm tired of aching and I'm tired of feeling miserable. I'm tired of having no energy. So I think people are moving towards the I want to lose weight because I want to be healthier and enjoy life a little different than what I am
Hmm.
right now. And
Yes.
I think that we really need to pay attention and honor that.
Yeah,
And
I agree. I agree. I just feel like, and it's not really about, for me, it's not really about the body. It's really about the internal. So, like, if your outside reflects what your internal is feeling, and let's be honest, and that's so
Mhm.
real. And so, and
It's a
if
direct
you start
reflection.
working on your internal, like your weight will just drop like that. It's incredible what can happen. So if you are constantly in a high stressed environment, if you are constantly doing something you absolutely hate, if you are constantly around negative talk, negative people, if you are constantly, around, like, I don't know, low income grocery stores where you just go in and you just grab the diet thing that says the natural whatever. If you're constantly around like that kind of stuff, then I mean, you're just going to gain the weight, because you're never going to process and think you're better than, and think you're worthy of, and think if you don't ever find the joy within yourself either, you're never going to find that. Do you know Richard Simmons? Okay. So
Yes.
okay, I love him and
I
he's
was
so,
Richard in my living room when I was a kid.
oh, I actually love him. And I didn't know how amazing he was until people used to tease me growing up. They're like, why are you so happy? And I'm like, I don't know. And then one person was like, you're like Richard Simmons' daughter. And so then I got his book. I ended up getting his book. I don't know how I got his book, but if you ever have the chance to read his book, you should totally read it.
What's
I
it?
did
You know what
not.
it's called?
I mean, I'm sure I can't remember the title because it was so long ago, but it's Richard Simmons, and I think he only made
Look it
one
up and put
book.
it in the show notes.
Yes, we'll do that. I'll look it up because I know I have it in my bookshelf literally right here. But he actually was a plus size Italian model, and not a lot of people know that.
I
He
didn't know
was
that.
like huge, like over 300 pounds, huge. And he one day came out to his car and there was a note that says, I love you. And it said something like, I love you and admire you, and fat people die. I don't want you to die. And that's when it clicked in his head. And he was like, wow, I got to do something about it. And so then, I don't know, maybe he started exercising, but he just found like passion within himself. And now you would have never guessed that he was 300 pounds. He's so like fit. And it's, yes, he's working out, but he didn't, I know he didn't go take no pills, a magic pill. He did the work. He found what like drove his passion. But I was just like, wow, like the you never know what one person can have an impact on you. And the note was sweet. It wasn't like you're a fat slob. It was like, I love you so much and this is what happens. And not to say fat people die, but if you are continuing to feed your emotions, never work through them, and continuing to, you know what I mean, just live this negative life, you're never going to find joy and you're going to prematurely die, I think, from a broken heart. Let's be honest. It's really
I'm
not the fat
glad
that
you
kills
said
you.
prematurely die. It
Yeah.
bugs me to no end when I hear people say everyone's gonna die anyway, so why does it matter? And it's like you're missing the picture. The goal isn't to be as skinny as possible, it's to be healthy
No.
and live your best life. And that
Yes.
includes hamburgers and french fries. Like,
Yes.
doesn't mean cut them out.
No, it just means don't eat them every single day or like, whatever it may
Add
be.
some
But
vegetables in there.
yeah, exactly. That's beautiful. But yeah, that this get skinny quick fix is not, it's not the business. It's unhealthy. That's just my opinion. And I think you have to work through things, and you can definitely get fit. And I will never be a size like two or like my body shape will just never, I have hips, I have a butt, like I will never be that itty bitty thing. And we have to remember that too, that like we're all structured differently. So my fit is going to look different from your fit, and
Yes.
vice versa. And I feel like also another thing media does is they'll put these model and oh gosh, these very thin, and even thin can be unhealthy. I'm just going to straight up say it. So super fat can be unhealthy, but super thin can be very unhealthy. And I have she's so beautiful, my beautiful second cousin, and she was actually really skinny, and she's realizing that like, hold up, this is not healthy, and she's now gaining her weight, and so she can sustain a healthy lifestyle because
And that
it
goes
can
back
go
to what
both
you were
ends.
saying and what you were saying that not everyone who is a little bigger is unhealthy, just like not
Correct.
everyone who is super tiny is healthy. But that
Correct.
doesn't mean that that there aren't healthy tiny people and unhealthy larger people. Like it really, really is nothing to do with your pant size as
Correct.
much as it does is with your overall health. And I really want
Correct.
people to hear that message today as they're listening to this. Like it truly does not matter how much you weigh, what the number of pant or that dress size that you're picking off the shelf. It's, are you healthy and are you able to live the life that you want to live? And is your body able to serve you the way that you need it to serve you?
And I
Like,
will say real quick, it doesn't matter the number on the scale either, because I actually struggle with that. I never really check my weight. Lately, I've been doing it every week. And the reason I don't is because I've always been heavier than what I look. And I actually, back in the day in Oregon, you had to buy a ticket for what's called the Max. It's like a train ride. Okay. And I was 18. I just jumped on without, that's what all the kids were doing without my ticket. And the cop pulled me off and basically was going to give me a ticket. And he's like, what's your hair? Your hair, whatever. He got all my description. Then he's like, what's your weight? And I told him my weight, and he stopped and was like, you do not weigh that much. And I was like, yes, I do. And he argued with me. We're talking like 10 minutes. And I'm like,
your weight means
I
nothing.
But he was just like, you are like, there's no way. And I was like, look, I do weigh this much. And so that's the thing is like muscle weighs more than fat. And you have to remember that too, because a lot of people go on a weight loss journey and they're like, oh my gosh, the scale's not moving. Like I'm just giving. And then they give up because they're just so focused on a number instead of how they feel
Yep.
inside and how, I mean, even your skin will start to look better when you start to just really find your passion, work through your stuff, and just really start loving life. And your exercises will be different. They're not as structured. You'll find maybe you're dancing in your living room, maybe you're jump roping, maybe you're hula hooping, maybe you're going on a bike ride, a hike. Like you'll start to just do things instead of like, I have to head to the gym again.
Are
Like,
you trying to sell my coaching program
oh,
because
well,
like
no, but I'm just trying to let
because
people know.
that's what we talk about. I'm not
Oh,
even
I
kidding.
love it.
I'm like, oh my God, her and I, we were on the same page. Like, this is why we work
Yeah.
together because I 100% agree.
And that's how I
Oh,
tell my yoga students too. It's like, because a lot of people think yoga is just, oh, you got to stretch, you have to be able to touch your toes. And like, yoga is so much deeper than that. Just like exercise and health is so much deeper than just one size fits all, one pill, one shot fits all, because it doesn't work that way. We
I
are
had a
all unique
client,
and we all need different things,
I have a
period.
current client who is like jonesing to step on that scale because it's been 8 weeks and I've encouraged her not to get on the scale. And she's like, I
Oh,
really just
get
want,
better.
and I'm like, why are you still so attached to that number? Like, you've told me that
Yeah.
your bra is looser. You've told me that you have more energy. You told me that you're sleeping better. You told me that your skin feels plumper at the age of 60. Like, you're telling me all of these things that are amazing. You told me that you're
Yes.
not as gassy and that you just feel better in your own
Yes.
skin and that you're not struggling to tie your shoes. And you're so worried. She's like, I just want to validate that I'm doing the right things. And I'm like, did you just hear the whole list of things you've shared with me the last 8 weeks? Like, these are the things that actually matter. I get
Yes.
so worried. I try so hard to help my clients detach themselves from the scale because the scale, it's a tool. It can tell you some things, but if the
People
goal,
get addicted. People
yeah,
get
but if the
addicted to
goal
that.
is not to be as skinny as possible, but the goal is to be healthy, then the scale doesn't matter because the questions are, did I drink enough water today to aid in my digestion and skin rejuvenation? Did
Mhm.
I eat some vegetables so that I have the nutrients my body needs? Did I include proteins because they're the like basic building block of everything
Mhm.
that happens inside of me?
True.
Like, did I move my body? Like, those are the things to focus on, not the scale, not the
How do
scale.
I feel? Another thing that you got to focus on is how do I feel? And you do not judge how you feel, just notice how you feel. A lot of us suppress our feelings and we don't even realize like how we feel. Are you noticing your sighs today? Are they a little more aggressive? Are they a little more sad? Or are they a little more exhausting? Like, are you noticing your breath? It tells you so much. And then once you start listening to that, then you can start noticing, do I need a rest today? Do I need to work harder today? Do I need to eat this today? Like, what kind of comforting things do I need to, counter what is really going on within me?
We spend so much time being told from the time that we're little that you're not hungry, have some almonds, it's not time to eat, get out of the drawer, are you sure you're hungry? Like, everyone telling us all these things that we don't even know how to listen to our own bodies when it's telling us
True,
exactly what you need. And so,
true,
like, when you
true.
slow down and you help calm your nervous system and you
Yeah,
focus on all of those healthy habits we've been talking about, you get to listen and your body's like, hey, I don't have as much energy today. And you're like, you know what? Maybe that like afternoon snack that I had wasn't the right snack because when I eat this other thing over here, I feel alive when I get home from work and
yeah,
work my husband's head off. Like, and so you get to
yeah.
make those tiny adjustments and you become this better,
True,
your better self.
true.
And just like you said earlier, when that happens, your body naturally finds its healthy weight, that weight
It's
that you
so
don't
true.
have to fight so hard to maintain,
So true.
and the body that actually allows you to go do all those things that you're feeling like you're missing out on when you're heavier and feel sluggish and tired and gross.
It's true. It's true. Oh,
So,
I love it. So the moral of this whole conversation is begin to love yourself, work through your stuff, and just appreciate all the things and find that person that you need to connect with to help you get there as well. And it's not an overnight thing.
and I can
It's not.
promise you
It's a
that it's not a
process.
shot, it's not a pill. And the one last thing that I want to make sure that we share today is that when you're walking through life, looking at everyone who's maybe has been on a weight loss journey or has dropped a lot of weight fast, if they have what I call is like sunken drawl or sunken face where they look super, super old all
Mhm,
of a sudden,
mhm.
there's a term, they're calling that Ozempic face. So don't
Wow.
believe everyone who's on Ozempic. Well, not everyone, but there's a lot of people who are afraid to talk about it because of
Mhm.
the stigma around it and other people's
Right.
opinions like we shared. And so they're like, oh, I'm just eating healthier, when in fact that they're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So don't compare yourself to
Mhm.
everyone else's journey and do what's right and best for you.
And truly listen to your joy, because what makes me happy is not going to be exactly what makes you happy. And so stop comparing yourself, period. And
Amen.
really truly listen. Your conscience is telling you exactly what you need to be doing, what you should be doing, what you want to be doing.
Yep.
Just go for it. It's scary, but that's why you're here. We're
Put
all
your
a piece of
blinders
this
on.
puzzle.
Put your
And
blinders
just
on.
do
Stay in
you.
your lane and do just put one foot in front of the other and focus
I
on your
love that.
goals. All right. I
Thank
love
you for
that.
being here.
Oh my
Thank you
God.
so much for being here.
Such a good conversation. Um, if you haven't yet already, be sure to subscribe to Two Humans Talking wherever it is that you're hearing our lovely voices. And we'll see you next week.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.